we understand, but right now slowing down to about 20 miles an hour, CHP behind. We'll have to see what happens here. Suspect's having a lot of issues keeping control of that vehicle as it has no front wheels at all, so no way to steer, at least on the driver's side. We haven't seen the passenger side quite yet, but quite the scene out here, all that smoke and sparks from this vehicle here as we continue now northbound 405. Remind me of the type of vehicle. Thanks. Looks like we're slowing down. That car finally giving up. A lot of work for that car to keep moving with so much resistance with that front end laying on the ground like that. So we'll have to see how long that engine and drivetrain can keep up. You can see those tires spinning, but not a lot of movement by the vehicle. Car's been driving with its with no headlights since the beginning of this pursuit when LA County Sheriffs started the pursuit on surface streets up in the area of Industry, and has now made its way all the way down here to Long Beach 605 on just now on the northbound 405 from the southbound 605. And it looks like we might be coming to the stops. Suspects still keeping their foot on that pedal. You can see the smoke coming out as it tries to keep up, but it looks like the vehicle is kind of dead in the water now. So we'll have to see what happens here northbound 405, just north of the 605. CHP now setting up that traffic brake, stopping the traffic, and going into a termination posture, a standoff position as they attempt to get this suspect out. Possibly on fire, possibly the suspect's still trying to initiate the gas pedal to try to move the vehicle. It's hard to say from this view, but we'll try to get a view inside that driver front window. And now what they're going to have to worry about is up here the other traffic on the other side of the road as they attempt to apprehend this suspect. Still a lot of smoke coming from that vehicle. Those officers are in a position of advantage, so they're going to look inside that vehicle. Looks like the suspect just threw something out of that window, maybe some water or some sort of bottle. Oh, yep, it looks like we're dumping liquids out of the vehicle right now. I'll have to see what happens as this continues on. At shutting down the southbound 405 just due to the position of this termination. They don't know what that suspect has inside, if there's any weapons or anything, or if the suspect's going to get out and decide to run across the lanes of the freeway. So what they're doing is trying to prevent any injuries or any more problems for the commuting traffic this evening. So they're going to shut down both sides of the freeway. Northbound's already shut down. Southbound will be shut down momentarily at about Palo Verde Drive here. So that's just a locator where this is, about Palo Verde and the 405, right where the on and off ramp are. That's where this has come to a stop. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 CHP ground units here. An airship from the CHP overhead calling this out to those men and women on the ground, as well as those dispatchers. And then the sheriff's air unit has been following along as well. They were over the pursuit from early on, calling it for the sheriff's department and then the CHP when this first began. But they're here as backup just in case the suspect gets out and runs, or there's more than one suspect. They can have multiple eyes tracking those different suspects in the vehicle. Still a lot of smoke coming out of this Cadillac sedan you see here. At least a driver in there. Looks like they might be sticking their head out the window. It's hard to say. But that driver window now down. When we last zoomed in, it was up most of the way. And it looks like the driver's head is out the window. It looks like they are maybe possibly listening or trying to communicate with those those officers. Doors open. We'll see what happens here. Driver coming out. Black shirt, black pants, walking away from those officers. not what the officers want to see. It looks like they're trying to converse, and it looks like he might decide to run. He is continuing to back away from those officers. We'll see what happens here. Officers are going to start to make an approach. We'll see what happens. They do have their guns and tasers drawn right now, and we'll just have to see what happens here. You see that officer kind of flanking the suspect, so the suspect doesn't try to cross the freeway. A very dangerous situation with that southbound traffic still moving. They are slowing down, which is good, but the officers are now coming in to take the driver into custody. Tasers drawn, as well as other less than lethal options, and it looks like they're trying to converse with that suspect now, but he is still resisting, and now beginning to run a little faster. It looks like the officers are going to come in and just tackle him, take him down to the ground. Driver in custody now. Being taken into custody. There are officers that are also still keeping, make sure there's no one else inside. They've already dispatched fire to stage to attempt to control now that possible fire within that vehicle. So they're going to arrive here on scene shortly. Long Beach Fire being dispatched as we speak, but driver in custody. Seemed like the driver did not want to cooperate with those officers as it began to back. He began to back away from the vehicle and away from those officers, but the CHP officers followed them and then ended up having to tackle that suspect to the ground, take him into custody after he began to throw whatever beverage he had in his hand at those officers. Okay. Driver's in custody, so we can go wherever you need us to. Go do whatever you need. There you go, driver successfully in custody. And it doesn't look like there's any injuries to speak of to any officers or anything like that. And we'll just issues with that vehicle, and then watch as fire arrives. So that's it over this pursuit of a DUI suspect. Here, starting an industry, making their way all the way southbound down into Long Beach. I'm Colton Von Pertz, Sky 5 with my pilot David Biskovich. We'll see you on the news at 10 for all the updates on this and so much more. Thanks for joining us.